Hello, you all. I haven't posted in a while, but welcome to the channel In Pursuit of Life with Sabrina. It is a channel where I talk about pursuing life in the middle of my healing journey, in the middle of the struggle, in the middle of the pain, to help others. And also, it encourages me because it helps me build community. Well, if you haven't subscribed, please do like and comment because it helps the channel. Now, you all, today I am leaving my son and daughter-in-law's house. I've been there since Monday. It was an unexpected thing. They had something come up. They needed my help with the babies while they were able to do some of the things that they needed to do. So because of my situation being so fluid, well, it's because of my choices that it's fluid. I was able to just go. Now, this is not what I planned on as far as my destiny, is concerned. I have been doing a lot of thinking about destiny. That's why I brought it up. I planned on being this professional woman that would have my grandkids, for like a week at a time or maybe a month at a time and fly in to see them because I would be doing so many things all over the world and I would have my academic doctorates and and I would just be learning and growing the whole time. Not, you know, not neglecting family, but since I'd given so much to family to help my kids get to where they were, I planned on just really being able to soar as high as I could go, catch up for lost time, so to speak, type thing. I didn't count on sickness. I didn't count on cancer. I didn't count on bronchiectasis. I say it wrong, guys. It's bronchiectasis. Bronchiectasis is what it is. It's the lung condition. Have a partial collapsed lung. Have some lung scarring. That's most likely from the radiation from the chemo. Have found a heart defect that is beginning to be more and more of a problem. I've had it all my life. We just found it 2 years ago. Had no idea all of this was going to be in my future, but I am so very grateful that I had made the sacrifices I made for the kids so that I could deal with this without having to have any regrets. Excuse me, my voice is having a rough time this morning. And so anyway, it was rough watching the grandbabies because right now I'm struggling physically. Last week I had a flare-up of the heart situation and lots of pain and tiredness and everything. And I finally got to where I was okay. I think Sunday I was better because I went to church Sunday. And I go to church out of town in Austin. I live in Waco. And so I was fine. And so Monday morning I was okay. But then it started to flare up again, I think on the lung situation started to flare up again, or flare up. That one flared up, I think, on Wednesday. Started feeling really fatigued and having a hard time breathing and coughing a lot. And then I started having trouble with the heart again. So I think it's the first time that I've recognized them both at the same time flaring up. But anyway, that's what it was. And I was still watching the babies. So I left this morning because I was really tired. Yesterday, I was talking to my daughter-in-law, and she said, "You want to just go lay down?" And I did. I mean, she was there, and she had the babies and everything, doing whatever. Because they had an appointment, and there were some things that they were doing that morning. But by I guess it's about 4:30, I was so exhausted and in pain, I needed to go lay down. So I lay down a couple hours. And then this morning I rested a little longer. When I say a little longer, I got up probably about 8. And then I left about 9:30. So I was driving. I'm just relaxing. When I do stuff like this for the family, and I'm gone for like a week or so, sometimes I just have to find a place and relax. And I found this really pretty park in Cedar Park. It's a neighborhood park, and I'm just sitting here looking at the trees. And I thought I would just go ahead and update and post. But I've been thinking a lot about destiny Um, not the person, if you know a destiny, but the word. And, I believe in God, and I believe that we are all created with a purpose that He has in mind, and we have inside of us, according to the Bible, everything we need which pertains to that. It's already downloaded into us. And that's the reason a lot of times you have people who are just so, from the time they were little, showed signs of who they became. Like I have a nephew who, his dad is a pilot, his sister is a pilot, and ever since he was a baby, he just loves planes. He loved taking them apart, putting them together. That's all he wanted. He loves this stuff, and I'm pretty sure that was his sister and his dad too. They're good pilots, Rosalind and Pete. They're really good pilots, and so my nephew is going that same route, not because anybody is making him do it. He loves it. He was born wanting to know all about these things with an engineering mind. And, and I have a niece that is just so good. She's so artistic. She's been that way ever since she was born. And in fact, all my brother's kids are artistic or have an engineer's mind. The boys, I mean, it's just, they're very creative. They play the piano. They've taught themselves how. They play instruments. My niece, she cooks. She's a great artist. I have another niece, her younger sister, she just creates with her hands all kinds of things, has very, very good eye for detail. They were born with these things. So whatever they go into, will have to, would be wise for them to go into something that uses those skills that are already born and they're born with. Now, sometimes what we think we're going to use those skills for are not what we actually use those skills for. Like my plans. I planned on a lot of things. I have so many interests. I love physics because it explains the how and the why of the world. I want to know. I want to know how it all works. Not just in everything, not just cooking and art and, space and engineering and medical and biological. I have such an interest in everything. And I probably would have still been going to school if I didn't have sickness stop me, because I've been sick all my life, felt sick all my life. I've dealt with one thing after the other. And so that has slowed me down. But that hasn't stopped my destiny. I've begun to realize my destiny was not in those interests. My destiny is in who I am today. I used to pray all the time when I was raising my kids for someone in the family that was available, that could help out in times of crisis. And I think it's really interesting because I'm that person. Ever since, well, not even before I got diagnosed, if anything happened, like with one of my kids, I was able to live my life in such a way to where I could drop what I was doing to go help. And now that I'm not able to work a normal traditional job because the chronic fatigue and just not knowing when I'm going to be sick, I'm available. I'm that person. And that's just not my entire destiny. Of course, my destiny is to help other people too, and to talk about the things that I'm going through, and to find solutions, and to share solutions. And I do know I need to write books. I do know I need to write down all the stuff I've been through, because there's been a lot of things that I've learned throughout the way of this healing journey. My healing journey, I was counting it for a long time as being, I guess I was thinking of it as starting when I got diagnosed with cancer. But no, it's been my whole life. I've struggled with something, especially with we just found out the heart defect that we found out 2 years ago. That thing has been there since I was born. I've been suffering the side effects of it. And then the back concussion where I was knocked out at 6 years old. We don't know for how long I was knocked out, but we do know the brain has suffered since then. We didn't recognize it until recently, but all the nausea and the dizziness and the unsteadiness I've had all my life has come from that concussion that my brain never healed from. And then I've had 13 documented ones throughout my life, because if your brain doesn't heal, we know now, it's if you get hit again and shaken up again, it's most likely going to get another concussion. So this is my destiny. My destiny at this time is to help others by sharing my story, by doing the research I can do, by digging and finding solutions. So I am at peace today, knowing that just because I haven't been able to do the things I planned on doing does not mean sorry guys, this cough has been crazy this week. I finished this sentence, but just because I have not been able to do things that I planned on doing does not mean that I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. And my life is not over. I'm only 54. And I had a doctor say, this is the perfect time to go through something like this because you're in the middle of your life. You've lived up until you've had to stop. And then you can continue from then on. Okay, I'll explain to you all what's going on. This is his bronchiectasis. Bronchiectasis. I said it wrong, guys. I'm sorry. The chronic lung condition, and I've got the heart flare-up thing. This week, the heart flared up. The lungs flared up at the same time while I was watching kids, and that's one of the reasons I was so tired. And I don't know if I said it in this video yet or not, but this cough is part of the flare-up thing, and and so I'm going to end this video while I clear my lungs so I can breathe and I can talk. Anyway, yeah, life is still good. And I just want to encourage you to have courage in trouble, have courage in pain. Everything we do to move forward is not done in vain. Bye.